Hello once again, YouTube. It is AltoSax31. We are kicking off on mission 11, the ninth circle, where we fight Sanctus for the first time. And so, most of you by now should know that this is the last mission that you play as Nero for quite a while in the campaign. The story mode, I guess. I guess there's not really a multiplayer mode in here, so. But yeah, this is the last time that you play as Nero, all the way up until mission 19. So definitely, sincerely want to enjoy your last mission with Nero before you welcome the fan favorite Dante into the mix. But starting off on this mission, first enemies you come across are the familiar Mephistos. We've encountered them pretty much, in pairs the entirety of the game, which will not stop when you play as Dante. But as always, you definitely want to take out the Mephistos first, and then good old buddy Faust shows up. And so, as before with Nero, it's basically just using the snatch move. Doing the Buster Grab is a little more effective, but you do have to be closer. So a charge shot 3 and then the showdown move makes quick work of him. And once you do that, you want to make sure to grab that green orb and then click on the little device and head up on the elevator. And in this simple little trick to get the Scarecrow to land on a little platform so you can open up the gate. It's something you should definitely have known already by now, but these guys definitely chump change to you and make quick work of them as you proceed further on in the level. Alright, once you're past that small little roadblock, you want to keep on heading towards the right when you come across these little glowing lamps. And so what I always do first is just fall to the ground, pick up that one, go back to the first one, do the snatch move, and then jump my way up. So this way we grab both of the floating red orbs, because they do count towards the orbs gathered at the end of the mission. And so coming up in the next section, there's going to be another Angelo. So I'm trying to prepare for the max act gauge. So on this part, I try not to worry about the red orbs, and more so just worrying about getting across. If you didn't know, there is a little secret area right there. Not an area, but secret orbs, so you definitely want to grab them before you head on over here. Now, when I fight this Alto Angelo, coincidentally, while I'm attacking him, it simultaneously does damage to the mechanism and actually engages it while I'm still fighting it. So, pure coincidence. Pretty funny, and I knock out the Angelo, and somehow I managed to grab the first lamp and then the fourth lamp, which kind of shoots me up and then throws it all out of order, which in the end is fine because I forget about this orb, which you should definitely grab. But once you're done grabbing that orb, you want to head back and do the mechanism one more time so we can do it properly. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why it shot me up all the way, but it definitely kind of threw things out of whack. But, we're up here at the top part of the little roof area. And once you click on this device, some Angelos show up. So good old Angelos. So you always want to take the same approach as these guys as you do, or you have before. Take them out one by one. And unfortunately, an Alto Angelo shows up, which makes things a little more complicated because they are a little bit of a nuisance. And just by coincidence, I happen to get taken out. Very unfortunate, but nothing to be too worried about because these guys, they go down fairly quickly, but they do take a little bit of time. Now there's two of them, so we know we have to take out that other one. Now, in this part of the fight, I realized that the other one's still pretty hurt, so I try and hit him with the charge shot 3. and that should do pretty significant damage to him. He should be very close to dying. See if I can finish him off right here. Oh, and I missed the double trigger trick. So if you see in this next section, this guy is very aggressive. He's very upset that I took out his buddy. So you want to just make sure we stay on the counter offensive and finish him off with a charge shot. You gotta love that charge shot. I mean, it's so invaluable in this run of this game mode. And I try to get that last orb, and I don't get it. I decide not to spend too much time on it, so I just skip it altogether. But going back, maybe I could have tried again, but in these videos I tried to keep the run as quickly as possible. This way it doesn't take too long of a video. Now on this part we fight these guys, it is completely optional. You can go ahead and click on that mechanism or the little elevator to go all the way up, but I do want to kind of help build my stylus gauge, so I decide to fight these guys, which tends to be just a small little bit of mistake, because I do end up getting hit. But for your sake, you can definitely skip this fight and just proceed to the boss fight. But there are a set of scarecrows and then 2 Alto Angelos. Once you knock out these guys, there's some more scarecrows and then some Bianco Angelos, if you want to take out the full set of enemies. Now, even though the scarecrows are on this part of the fight, you definitely don't want to forget about them, because they can catch you off guard, and they definitely will catch you off guard. So at this point of the fight, I'm getting pretty annoyed by this Angelo, because he took away a gold orb from me. But you know, these guys, they're not easy enemies. They're definitely on the stronger side. So once they're taken out, the weaker versions of them come out, and I'll definitely try and make quick work of them. You know, when you fight these guys, you definitely want to try and stay away from the statue, because if you do the devil grab, it can, you know, activate the item menu on there, so it can kind of cause some confusing points in the fight. I almost knew it there. So we got one bad guy left. He's all alone. He should be pretty much dead. So once you're done, you can head up on the elevator, or if you want to buy some skills or some items, you can definitely do so at the statue right before you head on up. But once you head up the elevator, it brings you up to the Savior. And this is a pretty good foreshadowing of the next time you fight him as Nero, which is the last level. A lot of his movesets are the same. Strategy to approach fighting him is practically the same. This is where Caliber comes in really handy when you're fighting him, because you stay in the air and you cover a lot of ground, and you attack at the same time. So it does a lot of damage to his shield that he has. And once you knock that down, you definitely want to try and do as much damage in double trigger form to kind of shorten the fight and potentially make yourself less vulnerable, less exposed. And so I'll give you guys a little bit of a spoiler warning. As I'm fighting him right now, those little lamps that keep hovering around him, I don't pay a lot of attention to them, but in a little bit you'll see that I do get a little careless with them, and I actually end up getting hit by it. And of course, since this is Hell in Hell mode, I end up dying from it, which is pretty embarrassing. But you know, after that, I learned my lesson, and I pay more attention to those lamps, and I make sure to shoot them and not basically just ignore them. So once you get about a little more than halfway in the fight, the Savior retreats back into the false Savior statue, and you'll notice that you see that's where it happened. You'll notice that his movesets start to change a little bit. This is definitely consistent with the fight in Mission 20, as he has the same moves. He just looks a little bit different. a little more demonic. But as you see now, I'm paying attention to those lamps because I know that they can't hit you, and they will hit you. You know, unfortunately, cause some damage. So I try to hit him with a showdown. I only get a little bit, and I actually end up getting very lucky that the shield regeneration doesn't hit me, because it can, and it does damage. So it will basically, it could have ended this mission for me, but I got lucky. So take it for what it is. So fortunately for myself, and for you as well, it doesn't seem like when he does those little blast moves, he only does 3 of them. On mission 20, when you fight him, he has a tendency to kind of go back and forth between 3 and 5. So while you're dodging them, you have to make sure to watch out for that potential 4th one. But once you take out the shield, he's exposed, and you can finally finish him off with the Buster move. Yep, and once you do that, he retreats back into this false savior again. We get a nice little cutscene where Nero's being consumed, and that concludes the first part of Nero's playthrough on the game. So fortunately, I was able to get pretty good marks on clear time, stylish points, and the orbs, which end up getting an S ranking overall. You know, fighting those Angelos in the right before the elevator definitely, I believe, helps towards a stylish point. So you can definitely sacrifice it for quicker completion time, but stylish points does come in handy at the end. So I hope this guide helped, and I will see you guys on the next mission as Dante. Take care, guys.